what is my part of the game, and the other one is what is the Academy doing, right? My part of the game was that there is an advisory board, a scientific advisory board for this Academy founded, and honor enough, I have been elected to be the chair of this advisory board. This is a spectrum of a wide variety of different scientists with really a wide variety of different expertise, research interests. I'm happy to say that many of advisory board members are around us. There is, I think I've seen Peter Kampitz, I've seen Peter Clement, I've seen Fritz Schneider, of course Anton Zeilinger, Jesus Crespo-Quaresma, and all these people do counseling. So we come up with the next point, that is, what is the Academy doing? And the Academy more or less has the aim to prepare Upper Austrian politicians to be prepared. That's what we want to do, right? So the question is what might come, not the question what happened in the past, although it's really interesting. We learned a lot of things today about what happened in the past also, but of course it's more interesting to find out what might come in the nearest future to somehow give a protocol to these politicians here in this country to say, this would be an idea to keep in mind that you should be prepared right for that.
But what I'd still be interested in is how Academia Superior differs from all the other think tanks that are out there.
So you already know that it differs, right?
Well, being in Washington, D.C., living there for 2 years, I know there are a lot of think tanks out there.
That's good that you know that. So see, there are two things that might be different. The one thing is how we come up with our topics, and the other thing is that, and I start with the latter one, that we really do both. We not only present our thoughts, but we more or less present an experimental protocol, a thing you can follow up as a do thing to do. That means we come up with all our thoughts, with all our conclusions, but we will still do the next step to find a way to translate all that in practical work. And this is what we will present, right? I mean, we cannot say whether or not it will be picked up, but we can say that at this point we've done everything that it could have been picked up, right? And the first thing is how we come up with our topics. That might be different to all the other think tanks you ever heard of. That is this surprise factor story, right? So we are not thinking about a lot of things. We are in fact not thinking about many things. We are thinking more or less about 1 or 2 things per year, right? We're focusing all our efforts, all our power on 1 or 2 things probably per year or 1.5 years. So you could say, oh wow, such a lot of people just thinking about one thing, isn't that wasted time? The thing is that when the topic is hot, then it's worth doing that, right? So we really have to take care that the topic is hot. So we need to do symposia like this. Invite people like, Karin Kneissl, Jane Teller, Jesus Crespo-Quaresma, Anton Zeilinger, David Katz, or Kevin Warwick, to ask them and to get help with defining our frame, defining our focus, defining our topic. And then we decide within the academic supervisory staff board to say, this is our topic, and we work for that for the next 1.5 years, and then just leave us working.
Oh, that's very interesting. Mr. Weber,
yes.
To you now.
Yes.
You once said that surprises are the essence of life. What did you mean by that, and how does this symposium come into play?
I think I speak for most of the people in the room that in our own daily lives, we both expect surprises. Sometimes, as the governor said, they're delightful and exciting. Sometimes they're upsetting. The ones that we know are going to be upsetting, we tend to try to prepare for. We buy automobile insurance, not because we want to have an accident, but we know that surprises happen. Surprise really is the nature of life today. If you're a business person and you don't expect your company to have a surprise, you are going to be very surprised when you do have a surprise. So it's essential to have a frame of mind that accepts that change is the order of the day. In the United States, there's an acronym that has become very popular, VUCA, VUCA. And VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And those are the times we live in. And somebody famous once said, if you don't like change, you will like irrelevancy even less. So part of what this exercise is about is accepting the inevitability of surprises. And then recognizing, not just at an individual level or a corporate level, but at a civil society level, there's a responsibility to adopt a mindset of agility and creativity and the ability to adapt. That becomes an essential quality of an entire community, of a province. And so that's really what the exercise is about, is to accept surprises as inevitable and to try to do some work to prepare for it. But you know about this firsthand. You were just surprised in Egypt. What was that like for you?
I was very surprised. I think it took me from the moment they gave me the assignment to when I hopped onto the plane, I think it was like 2 hours. I just grabbed a couple things and got my cameraman and went off to Egypt. But needless to say, it's a once-in-a-lifetime assignment for a journalist. It was breathtaking. And the great thing was that even though we were completely surprised, nobody knew the outcome, but you knew that you were part of history making, and it was wonderful. And what I enjoyed about it, and that's always the case when you're surprised in that way, it was the same thing in Haiti as well, is that you have to step back and you get this old-fashioned, traditional way of reporting. There's no internet, Mubarak turned off the cell phones most of the time. You have no agency. So what you're doing very traditional journalism. You're just telling what you see and hear, and that's very authentic and very, very great. And just one last thing that I think might be, I'm sure you deal with this as well.
You should be part of our advisory board, isn't it?
Say again?
You should be part of our advisory board.
No, but what we were really surprised about as well was what the social media played with this revolution. And people keep asking me, was this a Facebook revolution? And I don't know, I'm not sure if it was. I think the revolution would have taken place anyways, but I think Facebook just, made it in a faster pace. But I think the role social media will play in the future is a hot topic for you guys.
Absolutely, and it came up more than once today. The marriage of human aspirations with new technology and the ability to network with people who are young and have deep feelings of frustration and also hope, and they can finally find a way they can connect with each other informally, privately, all hours of the day and night. Technology doesn't pay any attention to time or distance or boundaries. It's a lot like quantum physics, I guess. And the idea is that the internet is a huge connector of human beings all over the world. So reporting in Egypt could be done in New York or from Egypt back to other parts of the Middle East, and all of a sudden we're one giant networked society. Huge change and very exciting.
Very, very exciting times. But Mr. Weber, you're the editor of HBR.
Used to be.
You used to be, sorry. Yeah. But it's one of the most prestigious magazines.
That's what they tell
You
me.
launched Fast Company, one of the fastest growing magazines in the US, and you have a profound insight into cutting edge developments. What makes Academia Superior so distinctive?
Distinctive? I think I think Markus spoke to that a little bit, but I want to go a little bit deeper because I think I'm not sure that the people in Upper Austria realize quite how special this is. There are, as you said, think tanks all over the world. They tend to be all of the same. They start out with a preordained mission with a set of answers that they're pretty much given by the sponsors, and then they're told to find evidence to prove what they already think. And they do very little, often, original, new work. This is a think tank and a do tank that starts out global, but with a local application. It sources expertise in fields that are very far-ranging and is cross-disciplinary on purpose. Frequently, you'll call together a group of experts, they'll all be in the same field. You'll have geneticists talking to other geneticists. There's very little cross-pollination. Today, the
You have never been around, no.
I'm told by my spies that geneticists...
It's really cool when geneticists talk to
They talk to each other. But here we have a group of people who, they really enjoyed each other's minds and each other's expertise. And they could, in a way, play intellectual ping pong with each other and create new knowledge on the spot, because it's not category specific, it's crossing boundaries, the same way social media crosses boundaries. So you have global, you have cross-disciplinary, you have trying to suss out the weak signals that are out there that haven't already arrived, and then figure out a way to go deeply into them and come up with applied knowledge that people can benefit from. This is very unusual for a think tank or a do tank. There is no answer that has already been given. There is no topic that has already been prescribed. So it's a very open and very free-ranging exercise